One big anxiety resolver for me is just ruminating on death. I think that's a good one. You're going to die. It's all going to zero. You cannot take anything with you. And I know this is trite, and I know we don't spend enough time thinking about the big questions. We kind of give up on them when we're very, very young. A little child might ask the big questions like, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? What is this all about? Is there Santa Claus? Is there God? But then as adults, we're taught not to think about these things, or we've given up on them. But I think the big questions are the big questions for good reasons. And if you can keep the idea in front of you at all times that you're going to die and that everything goes literally to zero, what's there to stress about? Enjoy it. Make the best of it. It's even briefer than that. Each moment just disappears. It's gone. There's only a present moment, and it's gone instantly. So if you're not there for it, if you're stressed out or you're anxious or you're thinking about something else, you missed it.
I'm being grotesque, but you've got to be. You see what I mean? You got to be crazy. It's too late to be sane. Too late. You got to go full tilt, bozo. Because you're only given a little spark of madness. If you lose that, nothing.
I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are. Right. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
Now, money is not the most important thing in life, but it is reasonably close to oxygen. I mean, when you need it, you really do need it. That's what I'm getting at. Now, I got to tell you, in all honesty, I like what money buys. I like to live in a nice house, drive a nice car, take that beautiful red-headed wife of mine out to nice restaurants and on nice trips. I like to play golf at the country club. And every one of those things costs money. But to tell you the truth, I love the things money won't buy. Money bought me a nice house, won't buy me a home. Money will buy you a companion, won't buy you a friend. Money will buy you a good time, won't buy you a peace of mind. Money will buy you a bed, won't buy you a good night's sleep. And let me explain something too. Interestingly enough, and I'm so grateful to be able to say this, I've got many of the things that money will buy, but all of the things money won't buy. And here's something rather fascinating. The more of the things you have that money won't buy, those are the things that will enable you to get more of the things that money will buy, and dramatically reduces stress in your life. That's what we want to be looking at. We want to look at the things that make a difference. I believe your philosophy of life is a key point. As you probably know, philosophy is simply the love of wisdom. Here's the philosophy I've built my life on, my career on. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want.
If what you're doing is significant enough, you don't need any other thing to motivate you. What you're doing is truly significant to life. Why do you need another motivation to make that happen? If you really understand and experience that what you are doing is truly important for every life around you, you don't need a motivation, life just goes on. See, does your heartbeat need a motivation to keep it going? I'm asking you. All the life processes is not asking for any motivation, isn't it? Monsoon's coming, any motivation? No, it's coming year after year, because the natural process is going on. Simply like that, in you and me, life is on. What I'm telling you is, if you're doing something which is aligned with the fundamental life process of who you are, This can find a million expressions, it need not be just spiritual teaching. It can find a million expressions that what you're doing is aligned with your fundamental life process, then you will not need anything to motivate you.
We shouldn't even want to be like anybody else because we are unique. We are truly unique. There's something like about us that you'll never find in another person. We're unique, and we've got the godlike ability to think. Now, what is self-doubt? Self-doubt is the opposite of self-confidence. Confidence comes from understanding. Like I would imagine you're confident you can drive your car. In fact, you're so confident that you'll be talking to somebody on the phone, you'll get in the car, you'll start the car, you'll drive, and you'll drive maybe 4 or 5 blocks, not even being aware of what you've done. It's all done automatic. Your concentration is on the conversation you're on. Now, when you first got in a car, you couldn't do that. The car was probably jumping all over the place, and you thought you'd never learn how to drive it. But you learned how to drive it, now you're quite confident. You're confident that you can get dressed when you get up in the morning. When you were a little boy or a little girl, you couldn't do that. You had to be taught to do it. Well, you know, self-confidence comes, like all confidence, it comes with knowledge. And the more you study you, the more you understand who you are, the more confident you'll become in your ability to do whatever it is you're doing. And you'll know that if you lack confidence in an area, it's because you lacked information in that area. Get some good material out and study it.
The fact is that in our world today, there's so much good stuff going on that we are eager to take a piece of everything. We're constantly raising our hand, if you like, and say, I'll do that, and I'll do this, I'll get into that, and I'll add that to my schedule, and so on. So as I mentioned earlier, the starting point of getting your life under control is to sit down and think about 2 things. Who you really are, which means what are your natural talents and abilities? What do you enjoy? What do you like doing? If you could wave a magic wand, if you were financially independent, what would you want to do with your life based on your own talents and abilities? Imagine that you have $20 million cash in the bank, just for fun, an inheritance, you won a lottery, but simultaneously you have an incurable illness and you only have 10 years left to live. If you had $20 million in the bank and 10 years left to live, what choices and decisions would you make for your life? And that begins to clarify things. You start to become clear, well, if I had that money and only a limited time, there's certain things I would want to do and certain things that would not be that important. The second goal area is, what do you really, really want from your life? If you had no limitations, if you had all the money and all the time and all the talents and all the abilities, if you could do or be or have anything, what would you really want in your life? And write them down. And then what I encourage people to do is make a list of 10 things, 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next year or so, and ask this question. If I could only accomplish one goal on this list, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on my life?
You're at the age when you have the time and vitality to do really incredible things. If you just give it your all, you'll look back and a decade from now, you'll be astounded by what you've achieved. You'll remember this day. You'll remember when the guy named Trump was giving the commencement address and he said I could do it, and guess what? I did. I think you're going to remember that very fondly. I hope so. Second of all, and very importantly, you have to love what you do. Okay? You have to. I rarely see somebody that's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. That's way you really like. Work isn't work. It's fun. I find it fun. I work all the time and I find it fun. If I didn't find it fun, I wouldn't be successful, whether it was real estate or in showbiz. I had a lot of different careers, but I loved real estate so much, and I was very successful in real estate because I loved it. I learned a lot from my father because I watched him work. He worked he was a workaholic. He loved to work. He's a good man. He was a tough guy, tough as hell, actually. Now that I think back, I don't know if you could even get away with that nowadays. He was tough, but he was a good man, I'll tell you. And he worked 7 days a week. He worked Saturdays, Sundays, it didn't matter. And I learned by watching him, he loved his life. He loved what he was doing. He had a great long-term marriage, a long, many years. He beat me on that one. Now, mine are very successful, but they haven't lasted quite as long. It was close to was close to 70 years. That was a long time. I said, Pop, you beat me on that one. But you know what I learned from him? That he loved life, and all he did was work. I see people that don't work hard and they're miserable. So go out and find, but he loved what he was doing. And you have to find something that you love, and you have to follow your own instincts.
See, what you want to do with opportunity is not turn it off. You don't want to offend opportunity. You don't want opportunity to turn cool on you. So the only thing you present to opportunity is talent and ability and performance and skill. You don't present need to opportunity. It's like asking the soil for an advance. What would happen if you'd ask the soil for an advance on next fall's crop? The soil says, look, you got to go somewhere else. Don't bring me your need. Bring me your seed. So you got to go do your borrowing somewhere else. And bring the seed to the soil. You don't borrow from the soil. You borrow somewhere else, get the seed, bring the seed to the soil. Because the soil does not want to know your need. The soil wants to know your talent, your ability to put seed in the ground.
The world is a lesser place if you do not reveal from within yourself what you have to reveal. And the fact that the world is a lesser place actually turns out not to be trivial. Like, if you aren't everything you could be, more people will die, more people will suffer, more evil will be unconstrained, more tyranny will reign, more chaos will remain chaotic and dangerous, all of that. It's like your family is more messed up than it could be if you were less messed up than you are.
Right.
So if you just got your act together, like 10% more, your family would be 1% better.
Right.
It's like, well, do it.
And that
like, people think, well, there's 7 billion of us, and each of us is just this separate dust mote, like floating in the cosmos, and what the hell difference does it make what you do anyways? It's like, that is not how we're connected. It's like, you're the center of a network, and you know way more people than this, but let's say typically, you're going to know 1,000 people in your life, well enough to have an impact on them, okay? And each of those 1,000 people is going to know 1,000 people. So you're 1 step from 1,000,000 and 2 steps from 1,000,000,000. And we are networked, technically. That's how human interactions work. And so when you do something that you shouldn't do, it's worse than you think. And when you do something that you should do, it's better than you think.